Respiration is the process of cell catabolism in which food is turned into a usable form of energy into the form of ATP. This process is divided into three main processes called glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Shortly, I will be talking about glycolysis. But first, we need to understand some basic concepts like ATP, which basically stands for adenosine triphosphate. We can talk about glycolysis. Glycolysis starts with a glucose and oxygen. The glucose is split into two groups called pyruvic acids. 6 carbons can form a glucose. This happens in the cytoplasm. In order for this process to work, you need to spend 2 ATPs so that you receive 2 ATPs more. This means that it receives 4 ATPs but has a net gain of 2 ATPs plus 2 pyruvates and an NADH. In dividing this process, it will be called an aerobic process. But if we don't have oxygen, this will be an anaerobic process, which leads to fermentation and creating alcohol or lactic acid.
We will now talk about the Krebs cycle. This process takes place in the mitochondria. This process consists on the pyruvates that were made with glycolysis to be taken and turned into 2 ATPs per glucose molecules. One of the pyruvates is oxidated, which means that one of the carbons abandons the rest and goes with 2 oxygens and leaves the rest of the pyruvate to turn into acetyl coenzyme A. The acetyl coenzyme A, which plays the mom role, gets together with 4 carbons, which play the dad role, and form a baby called citric acid. The citric acid is oxidized again, kicking out some carbons of CO2. These are exhaled by the cells and so by us. NAD plus FAD appear, becoming into NADH and FADH. Each pyruvate has 3 NADH and FADH2. And since we have a molecule of glucose that was split into 2, we now have 6 NADH and 2 FADH2. We will now talk about electron transport chain or ATC. The NADH and the FADH were created in the Krebs cycle. Will be now used in this process to pump this across the inner membrane of the mitochondria. The proteins will be flying around. The proteins will be swapped by the electron. This goes through the ATP synthase. And if it works properly, during this process, we can make up to 34 ATPs, letting us to get 38 of net gain of ATPs that started from a simple glucose. This is the end.